What's going on, everybody? Welcome to IE Sports Radio. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and your girl Bex. We are the East Coast Red and Gold. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, good people? Good to see you again.
Still recovering from the drive home.
Oh, yeah, I felt
That's
that
the
way
truth.
for sure.
Thunderstorms in the Poconos, a memoir, chapter 12.
Yeah.
I drove back to West Virginia on I-79 through over the river and through the wood curves in thunderstorms. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was definitely not fun driving home Sunday night. That's for sure. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us, the East Coast Red and Gold podcast on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And of course, IE Sports Radio has been around now for about a decade, roughly. Make sure to follow IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the Talk of Tick. It's actually TikTok, but, I do it backwards sometimes. Keep up with the latest in sports and with the shows. You can also check out IE Sports Radio, East Coast Red and Gold, or / East Coast Red and Gold for sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, the Hall of Fame Fans of the Month, and more. Thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that sports. And of course, the IE Sports Radio is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. It's the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm. All brisket jerky has gluten-free options, no MSG, no sodium nitrate. It's low in sugar, high in protein, and some of the best jerky you can get your hands on. PlanetJerky.net, brisket beef jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Awesome. So the Niners completely dominated the Steelers on Sunday.
Sent them to a whole other planet called Planet Pain.
That's right.
Pretty much.
Never a doubt.
We were there for it. Talk about your experience, the fans, where you sat. Go ahead, Becca.
Yes, ladies first.
I mean, so Pittsburgh is, close to home, my home state. Grew up in West Virginia, so Pittsburgh's always been a city that I've known and loved, and they've done a lot with the city. So I went and took a couple cousins to the game. One had never been to an NFL game before. The other, he's a kid in school, so it was his second time going to a game. Little Steeler fan. So it was fun having them along, showing them the ropes and what the other side looks like on the Niner fan side. So, he's a closet Niner fan. He's not going to admit that yet, but he's going to come over from the dark side. Where we had him close. He was running after autographs on the Niner rally towel at the team hotel. So we got him started in the right track, come on, it's okay. You can admit it. But no, it was good. It was good having them. I think I wore them out, going to all the events and running around town, experiencing the city. Otherwise, we were prepared for the worst with the weather and got the best outcome possible at the tailgate of the game. We ended up having the sun come out at the game. Right? It was supposed to rain all weekend, and it didn't rain at all. Throughout the day on Saturday, and then Sunday during the game was really great weather. And, only the drive home, as we were just talking before the show, hit the thunderstorms and crazy rain driving home, but, slowed down and made it safely. So from that perspective, the weekend was everything it could have been and more. We got the dub, and it was just a really awesome time. Nice to have football back.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead, Ty.
Heck yeah. Pittsburgh was awesome. It's an awesome city. The people there are so cool, just friendly. You walk around your team stuff, and they're just cool. No problems at all. In the stadium, no problems. I was in section 137 on the home team side, so I was surrounded by just Pittsburgh fans. There was like one guy in front of me, and then like another guy way down, and like that was it. That was it for my section. So we were just alone. And the guy in front of me wasn't even wearing red. He got just, I don't know, plain black t-shirt. So I looked like this like lone guy standing out there. And it was still just chill, good vibes, you know. I'm all about having good fun with opponents' fans, and that's what we did. We just had a good game. I had fun with them. They had fun with me. It was all respectful. So it was great from a standpoint just to, you know, be there and enjoy the game. The game itself was just great. You know, I was standing up, dancing in front of my little seat. And why wouldn't I? There were some great things on the field. We'll get into that. But I had no son being on the home team side, so I was shielded.
Starting to see a pattern.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, I was on the home team side too. Yeah. What up, Terradome? Met up with Terradome at the John Chapman thing. Great dude. It was good to just shake his hand, meet him, you know, live, face to face. But it was just a great weekend. I'm so glad football is back. It's just different. It's just different. Love it.
It's like a church you want to go to.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was my first time in Pittsburgh. I loved it. I thought it was an awesome city. The people were nice, friendly, until they started losing. But I guess that's all sports fans. Most anyway. And it was really cool. I mean, we were in section 121. We sat next to the Hargraves, which was pretty cool. Very nice people. We were also in the sun again.
Did you bring a hat with you this time, or was it just your mom that was prepared?
It was supposed to be cloudy,
right,
with a chance of rain all day.
We know how that goes. Yeah.
So I did not have a hat or sunglasses, but I happened to look to my left, and my mom was prepared with a hat and sunglasses.
Fully prepared.
She knew.
She knows what's up.
And I had no idea. And I happened to look at her, and I'm like, "Oh, where did that come from? Like, how are you prepared?" And I'm not prepared. So yeah. So I got some nice sunburn on my face. But
sorry to cut you off, but real quick, I figured out in Atlanta, we were kind of like directly diagonal across from each other. I was in the shade and you were in the sun. And this time we were diagonally across from each other once again.
And the same thing again.
So there's this thing, Jess, and I know why you get the seat you do, because you want to get, you want to hobnob with Jed and the gang, and I understand
that's what she does.
Which is totally fine and understandable. But to avoid like dying in the sun for the next 4 quarters, for example, they do this thing online, and it's like, I just look for shaded seats, and then it will tell you what section they're in, and then it will actually like put the sun dial on. It will tell you what time of day it's shaded and everything else. But it seems like almost every single time. Yeah. Yep. There's a bunch of them that do that. And I do that specifically because I never ever want to have another like Philly week 2 in 2021. We were in the sun, and I thought we were covered, but we were still in the sun just because of the way the sun was. So like kind of learned my lesson on that one. Like I would love to sit on the visiting side every time. Like to me, that's the way to go. But it's not, I don't want to be dying in the middle of heat. So yeah, just look for it. And the 530s, Niles Northeast crew thought it was good. So good times. And let's look at the game for a second. Just look at the game itself, right? Let's look at the game. Everybody all week. I saw a bunch of people. Pittsburgh played their starters all preseason, and they're sharp and they're ready, and iron sharpens iron. Blah 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 blah. Steelers will win a close one, and the 49ers went in there and just ate their lunch, man. Like just took their lunch, ate it in front of them, took their cell phone and said, I'll see you later. Right? Like beat the living bejesus out of them. And Drake Jackson, 3 sacks, that's video game numbers, right? Like so many good things to come out of this game. And you can they're definitely not hitting on all cylinders, right? There's no way they're hitting on all cylinders. But they're a lot further along this year right now than they were last year at this time, right? And you can carry this stuff over, and now you've got a really, really good matchup with a team that's coming off of a huge win that they didn't expect to have. And, you know, it's going to be your typical division game. And I wouldn't be shocked if, like, the Rams kept it close and kept it within the 8.5, but I feel a lot better about them being 2-0 right now than I did a few weeks ago. I learned a lot of things about that team last week in just how they reacted to everything. Think of all the garbage that happened, you know, over the last 6 weeks, right? You know, the quarterback stuff and Bosa and all this other stuff. And literally they just all went out on the field and just said, that's it. We'll just take that. And they took it. They took it out. So maybe this is the year, you know. I want to be optimistic, but that's a hell of a start. You know what I mean? That is a hell of a start. We had all sorts of questions on so many different things. You know, Jake Moody, as somebody just said in the comments, almost every question got answered in the positive this week, right? Outside of Colton McKivitz and TJ Watt, but like it's TJ Watt and it's Colton McKivitz week 1. So
I felt bad for Colton McKivitz.
Let's calm ourselves down a little bit. Like if you're gonna learn, you might as well learn now, right? So it was it reminded me of the win in 81. The win in 81 was very meaningful. For those of you who don't know, the DeBartolos are from Youngstown, Ohio, Pittsburgh, rivalry stuff or whatever. So when the DeBartolos bought the team, the first time they went to Pittsburgh, I think they played in Pittsburgh on a Monday night, and they got crushed, embarrassed. They didn't play well. It didn't go great. So the next time when they came back, you know, 49ers came in there and won 17-14. Of course, later on that year, the 49ers went on to win the Super Bowl. But almost every 49er said that was the game, you know, where they were going up against Bradshaw and Lambert and Franco Harris and all those guys. That was the game, the measuring stick game that made them feel like, hey, we can do this. Hey, this is this. Hey, this is that. Now, this current version of the Pittsburgh Steelers is not that. But to go on the road week 1 in a hostile environment, even though apparently they didn't play Renegade, unbelievable. There should be refunds issued just for that because, you know, it's supposed to be all magical or whatever. But for them to go out and play the way that they did and really end that game at the start of the second half, to me, that's just phenomenal work. And it shows like how much work was put in this offseason and how much productive work was put in this offseason. And you got to feel optimistic moving forward, no matter how you feel about anything else on this team.
Yeah, you definitely do. Just the, you know, let's take a look at the offense for a minute. You know, Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk, CMC, Ray McLeod, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. All, you know, they all, like we said Saturday night, and Ty said it as well. The three of us said it. They all did their job.
Yep.
And when you do your job, big things happen.
And even
I'm still
when
going to
it's
say,
not necessarily your job, look at what Ray and Brandon Ayuk did, running those guys down to make those blocks for CMC. That's some above and beyond stuff that, you know, you can tell these guys are locked in and ready to go.
And also, as that play was getting started, Kyle Juszczyk and Jake Brendel with their blocks.
Yep.
Which was also huge.
That run doesn't happen until week 6 last year, right?
Yeah.
Week 7. Week 8, because McCaffrey's not here, but you know, Mitchell's not going to have that run at that point in time. They're not blocking like that at that point in time. Like, this is huge. Just the continuation is huge. Like it helps them quite. Like when I compare what they did as opposed to what Philadelphia did against New England, right? Because that's really, you look at them and Dallas, and those are the 3 teams you're looking at. Okay, like. And any semblance of being able to take Seattle seriously at this point ended last week. That wasn't just like Yeah, well, I mean, that ended last season, but like, there's still a chance, like, oh, hey, they regroup and now they've got the secret sauce and now they can compete a little more this year, right? No. Like Kyron Williams just run all over him. If Kyron Williams is going to run all over him, like, what do you think McCaffrey and Mitchell are going to do? Right? Like, just so many good things this week. So, and the best part about it was, like, even though everybody talked about it and how good it was, like, the Giants were so bad on Sunday night against the Cowboys that everybody was just talking about how great the Cowboys were. Oh,
terrible.
And they didn't even really, like, they played a dominant defensive game, right? And then they coasted from there. That's really what they did. And the Giants couldn't get out of their own way. Like, I don't know. It was a really good week all around throughout the league. Everything 49er wise really came up aces. Just a great start. Great week one. Couldn't have asked for a better week one. Everybody's healthy.
0 injuries.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest stat right there.
Again.
The biggest stat.
Yep. All got out of there healthy. I know Drake Greenlaw isn't practicing today, but I guess that's, like Kyle said, it's wear and tear. So he's just getting resting.
That is so smart. That is so smart. Like, how much battering do inside linebackers really need? Right? Like, how much battering do these defensive guys really need every week? You don't need it Tuesday through Friday or Wednesday. Like, you can't do that every day. So it does make sense. Like, good stuff, man. Everything's good. And by the way, I was led to believe that Brock Purdy was not mobile and or had any sort of athletic ability. And I saw some stuff this weekend that led me to think, whoa, that's pretty good. Like, he, at one point, like, I know he got hit by a blindside blitz later and got taken down, but he saw one, swiveled the hips, went outside, threw across his body sidearm, like, and it was behind Debo, but honestly, that's the only place Debo would have been able to catch it where nobody else is going to pick that off. Like, it was the most perfect, unbelievable crap. And this is the last pick of the draft. This is whatever they're doing, man. Like, I saw somebody say the other day they went from a singles hitter in Garoppolo to a doubles hitter. If that's all they need, that's awesome. He's a hell of a doubles hitter, right? I don't think that's the case, but he was very aggressive. That was another thing, like, too. Like, we talked about it all off season. What if he doesn't even play week one? Oh, he's gonna be cautious week one. They're gonna have to, wean him in. It didn't look like there was any weaning there. It was just full on grip it and rip it, man. And him and Brandon Ayuk have got a connection that is pretty great, quite frankly. That's a burgeoning relationship to watch as well.
And it was so poetic against Patrick Peterson too, because, all of his comments. And then even after the game, if I got my hands on it, well, you had your hands on it. You just didn't.
Yeah.
Still didn't catch it.
Beat it.
It was crazy. Yeah. The whole Ayuk thing. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be this great player for us this year. I think he's already showing that he's locked in and he is going to take it and run with it as far as he can. And clearly the two of them have quite a connection. Just him being everywhere that Purdy needs him to be and being able to really dial in and make those kind of tight coverage catches. I was so excited to see that happen.
Listen, man, this is nothing new from Brandon Ayuk. He's been doing this for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
He just hadn't gotten the ball as much as he should have.
That's
We've seen him plenty of times on film, breaking ankles, dusting number one DBs, being open. He just didn't get the ball. So kudos to Black. I know where to go with this.
Him and Flowers. He deserves everything.
You want to guard him one-on-one? Okay. I'm going to just throw it up to him. Mm-hmm. That pass in the end zone, in the corner of the end zone, his second touchdown, that was Brock seeing he had one-on-one man coverage, and that's a quarterback going, I trust my guy to make this play more than your guy will make a play because he's just better. And he just put it out there to him.
But we have
that's
what happened.
And it's crazy because that play only had a 16% chance of being completed. But Brock Purdy, in his own mind, was like, no, if I get it to this spot, my dude will get it. And he was right. He was 100.
Exactly.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. He knew that he had 100% chance at that 16%, so he just went with it, right? I went with Scott Steiner math there.
That right there.
Look that up if you've never heard of it, but you'll know. But it was really
Peterson.
Yeah, he put it right where it needed to be, and that's something we haven't seen out of the quarterback position in a really, really, really long time. And I'm not just saying the most recent quarterback. I'm saying a lot of quarterbacks going back past. This is why Shanahan loved the guy so much. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is what Kyle has ever wanted from. He's just wanted to see this from a quarterback. I don't think he cared who. He wanted to see this.
And at the end of the day, so did we.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, laser dimes, right on cue, right on target. The guy there in the right position, the right place to make the right catch. Like the Debo catch, too, as you pointed out, was to the backside, away from the defenders. Yes, he had to lay out a little bit to get it, but no one else was touching that ball except Debo. On a scramble, when Purdy was throwing off the back foot, the opposite direction, it was exactly the only place the ball could go to be caught, and that's where it.
Y'all hyping that up too much. Brock made a good throw. He flipped his hips, got his body turned, and threw it. He wasn't off balance and off his back foot. Let's take it easy now.
No,
Brock turned and was in perfect form to make that throw. That was great execution on his part.
That's what's crazy about it, though. We haven't seen enough of that, so stuff like that just makes us excited. Is really what it boils down to.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, he's hitting all the benchmarks you want to see that guy hit. Right now, it's not a matter of is this guy a consistent NFL starting quarterback. The next question is, can he be a superstar NFL starting quarterback? Then can he be an immortal NFL starting quarterback? Right? You pretty much got your 3 levels. So now you're waiting for him to take those leaps. So. Hopefully he keeps dinging the Sonic rings and he keeps, passing up levels and going from there. But here's what I don't want to see. Okay. Who do you guys see all over your television right now for the league?
I've been out of the loop, so I don't know.
So very odd. But Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls. Right? And I remember him in the State Farm commercials. But the only quarterback I see on TV anymore is Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Well, I mean, from that perspective,
that, Madden,
he's in all the commercials. Yeah.
This is my question. What has Josh Allen won? Nothing. And then he plays like he did on Monday night, right? I don't want to see Brock. I didn't see Joe Montana doing things until after he won a Super Bowl, right? You win a Super Bowl, then you can do that stuff. Look what happened to Baker Mayfield, Progressive Insurance guy. Now he's, in Tampa. That's how it always ends up working. This is how this works.
His commercials made me laugh.
Yeah, but don't take any sponsorship opportunities like that until you win something. Is my best advice to anybody out there. I know it's money and it's all great, but if you're really serious about winning,
win first.
Seems like you can't do that and win. You need to win first and then do that.
Yeah, going back to the whole Patrick Peterson thing, Debo was mic'd up for the game. So him and Ayuk were sitting on the bench, and he's like, this guy supposedly has all the tells.
I thought they had tells.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny. So if you guys didn't watch it or listen to it, just go back. It's cool. I was excited to see Ray McLeod back there. I honestly thought that we would be missing him for at least a couple more weeks.
Yep.
So
definitely.
It was really amazing at the fact that he was back there. Yep. On Saturday night when we went live, I had asked him, I said, how's the wrist? And he was just like, it's good, and stuff like that. And same thing with Mooney Ward with his heel. It was good to see them out there. It was good to see us healthy. Going on to the defense, Drake Jackson with 3 sacks. Kerry Hyder had a sack, and Javon Hargrave had a sack. 5 total. 2 picks, one by Mooney Ward. The other was the like a tip drill from Fred to Huff. And then Huff messed that up with his forward lateral to Gibson.
He almost had that.
He did.
That was
It was a good idea.
I saw him looking all the way. It's like, ooh, get back, Gip.
Got to remember, you got to get that option. You either got to run ahead or they got to slow down a little bit.
Gip should have slowed down for him a bit.
It was super close, though. I will say, when they showed the replay of that, I was like, man, that is so close. It just a tad bit could have really, but it was super close.
That was, and then there was the heat-seeking. Usually Fred Warner's good for one big hit a game. But he got that big one early on Harris. That honestly, it was like Ronnie Lott in Super Bowl 23 against Dickie Woods.
Same thing I thought, Matt.
That, it was the same. It was the same tone setting. No, not today. And really, for the rest of the game, it seemed like you saw a lot more of Jalen Warren after that. I don't know if Najee Harris got hurt. I don't know if his feelings got hurt. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe they just fell behind and started to go toward a passing game more, which is also a possibility.
They did that.
But
they only ran the ball 10 times.
Yeah, it was crazy. They just gave up on that.
They just totally abandoned
and I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of teams that give up on that run this year on that 49ers defense, because you've got Hargrave right in the middle. That's not, you can't just run it up the gut anymore on the 49ers. It's not. This is DJ Jones was really good up the middle, and I thought they missed him a lot last year. But this is better than anything DJ Jones ever did. This is hell yeah, right? Like, this is the stuff that you really want. So, and then for him to get a sack out of that, and Bosa doesn't even get a sack on the first week. Drake Jackson gets 3. They still get 5. Like, if I had told you the 49ers are going to get 5 sacks this week and Nick Bosa wasn't going to have any, you'd be like, yeah. Get the hell out of here.
I think he got credited for a pressure or something, or a touch. I'm not sure what his stat was, but he
being an intimidating SOB possibly.
Exactly.
Because he's still drawing double teams, but that's a problem. You can't really double team him when you've got Hargrave up the middle now, unless you are really super confident about everything, as Ty said. And it's like,
and he was on a pitch count. He was on a count. He only played, he was like 32 snaps.
35, which I was really surprised. Most people told me he was only, just about everybody I talked to said 15 to 20. 35. Okay, cool. And he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Nope.
Even better. I guess he was in good shape after all. Those 6 egg omelets every morning from Cheryl Bosa.
Yeah, right.
Good shape. Only practice one day.
Cheryl.
She needs to open up a breakfast place, like straight up. Cheryl Bosa's 6 egg omelets. Like, I would be lying around the block.
But yeah, and now this week he gets a full week of practice.
Full week of practice, and against an offensive line in the Rams that is not what you would call dominating. Like, I'm only expecting it to be close against the division game, and McVay is going to pull out every trick in the book. Like, he's going to go full 4 horsemen late 80s, right? Pipe wrenches, the whole 9 yards, interference from fans, like, could be anything, right? You really, there's only going to be like 6 Rams fans in the whole building, but like, that's the point. One of them might be, pretty crazy.
A plant.
They're going to bring the kitchen sink to it, so I'm gonna be real interested to see what happens. Because it's still week 2, right? And that's a big game for them. That's a really big game for them, because if somehow in the world of ridiculousness the Rams go 2-0 to start the year, we're gonna hear the end of it.
I don't hear you.
Don't ever want to hear that. Yeah, I can't imagine that happens, but like, I definitely think 9.5 points is too much. But if it isn't, I'll tell you this, if the 49ers go in there and just womp them the same way that they did the Steelers, then watch the hell out, because you're not supposed to smack around divisional opponents, even when they suck.
Why not? We did it last year.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. It's just an average thing, right? Even even the ones it's like 10 in a row, like, oh, well, I lost 10 in a row to them. Like, there's usually a few close ones in there somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it doesn't happen like that. It's weird. Like, if you go back and
even
watch
on
all the
your
old
best
49ers games,
score, right?
they should have beaten the Falcons like by 30 every week, right? Like every time they play. And yet somehow the Falcons would sweep them sometimes. You'd be like, what in the hell? Like the Falcons have
Division
no
games,
talent.
they're weird. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just division games, and it makes no sense.
Right. That's what I always say too. I'm always worried when we play in the division because these guys know each other so well. They plan for you so often and so much that somehow look at what Pete Carroll's done to us in some of the best years, you know, been able to take us to task even when we shouldn't lose.
2021.
A lot of those
In
games
Seattle.
we shot ourselves in the foot though.
Yes.
True.
But
Yeah.
magically, it always happens that way.
You know,
whether-
the fake punt to start the game,
Yeah.
right?
Fake
That
punt.
went for a touchdown. Just the things, right?
The ensuing kickoff. We
always the
fumble the
thing,
ball.
right?
Yeah, they and
Shooting
it's
ourselves in the foot.
Yep. And it just seems to happen like that in division games more than anything because it's just, you know, it's like baseball.
Well, the teams get
Nobody
complacent
goes
and they
162 and
don't-
0 in baseball, right? You're pretty much expected to win 2 out of every 3 games. Even the crappy teams are going to win like 30 to 40, 50 games a year. So like it's just a matter of how many games it is, and there's only 17 in the NFL. So if you have a bad week, it really sticks out. So I don't think that's going to happen this week, but if it does, you know, this is a big measuring stick game for how good the 49ers really can be.
Yeah.
Like it's a big deal. This is every game is big, but I think week 2 games are really big, especially when you come off of a big road win because you can start believing the hype a little bit.
Yeah.
And if they don't do that this week, then we're really onto something.
Yeah, we shouldn't overlook the Rams, but we are going to talk about that. Special teams. I honestly thought that they were going to break one through.
You mean the Steelers were gonna break off the kickoff, or
No, the Steelers.
okay?
I honestly thought on 2 occasions I was just kind of like, "Ooh, that was."
Well, yeah,
was
that
a little
one
The
close.
blocking was definitely setting up for it. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
So
And it took a couple. There was I know there was at least one of them where it was like there was one tackle that saved it from like.
Yeah, there was wide open spaces and one tackle that saved that whole thing from being just a disaster. But the second one, I don't remember feeling like, oh my gosh, somebody get him.
So
Yeah, because
all
I
that's
remember thinking
on-
like,
Go ahead.
I remember thinking like, oh, 3's a charm, third time. Third time it's gonna happen, but it didn't. Thank God.
So all that's on Brian Schneider. Sorry.
Yes.
We know his philosophy is to try to pin teams in deep on kickoffs, just like a punt.
Mhm.
But in order to do that, you know, you got to have a kicker who can get some hang time on the ball, drop it down in the corner somewhere, which allows your special teams unit to get downfield, run underneath it. Jake Moody was not handling kickoffs. It was Big Mitch. That is not his specialty. It is not what he does well. He has a strong leg, but he can just line drive the ball. If you look at the kickoffs he had that went out the end zone, they were just line drives.
Yeah.
Those kicks where Brian was like, hey, try to pin them deep, they were line drives. The team couldn't get downfield, so the Steelers were able to set up all their blocks. The returner was able to get upfield, get a full speed, and pick his lanes. After the first return, Brian should have said, okay, this isn't going to work.
I don't have the kicker
Just
for
kick
this
it out
today.
the end zone. Exactly. You can't do what Jake Moody can do. Just kick it out the end zone. The defense is firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Just play D. Like whether it's Brian or Kyle, somebody should have said, okay, no more after the first one.
They would have been better off doing the Ray Wershing squib it into the ground thing, right? And just kick it on a line drive, like straight down the field and let it bounce and do all sorts of crazy things, because by the time they got it, they're not going to be able to set up to do the blocking, right?
Yeah.
They would have been better off doing that, as you said, kicking it out of the end zone, than all this other stuff. Because if they would have popped one, changes the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
You saw how special teams can affect a game. Go to Dallas and the Giants. It looked like the Giants are going to run the Cowboys out of the stadium, block a field goal, run it back for a touchdown. Then all of a sudden it's a 40-0 whitewash the other way.
Yep.
It's just that quick.
And how about Jake Moody?
Yeah, how about Jake
Good
Moody?
stuff from him.
Jake
Quadzilla.
Money Moody.
That's
It was
right.
Definitely that. I was
Indeed.
so relieved and so happy that he was able to handle it. The injury and some of his attempts in preseason were like, hopefully he gets this all out of his system. And sure enough, he managed to come through. So good stuff.
It's almost like preseason is important to get that sort of jitters out and get acclimated and get your feet wet, right?
Work through mechanics and timing and to make sure if you're going to attempt some sort of new change to the whole process, you work it out in preseason. Exactly.
He was the first one on the field. He was out there kicking.
Yep.
Just working it out. Luckily, it was a great day to kick once again. There was hardly any wind.
Right.
Yeah.
When there was some wind, it was just like a light breeze. So it was a great day to kick, but he was out there working it out. Felt good. Actually bumped into him after the game. Joked with him a little. I said, "Are you faking that quad thing? Because you look pretty darn good out there, buddy." And he just smiled. I gave him a great game, pat on the back. So Jake Moody. So far, so good.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff from him.
Keep it up.
Go ahead.
No, I said keep it up.
Oh.
I give a shout out to Big Mitch. That son of a Mitch was punting his butt off. The kickoffs weren't good, but
Yeah.
those
were
punts.
great.
I believe he had like 3 or 4 inside the 20.
Yeah.
Like 2 inside the 5 to 10, something like that.
Pinned them
Yeah,
back
that-
to a couple good times. Yeah.
And that team was
is good
not
punting.
and that team was not in any position to be able to deal with any of that field position.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Especially after Johnson hurt his hamstring. That's kind of when you knew the day was going to be the 49ers. Johnson makes one good catch,
Yeah.
makes a move,
And
nobody touches him, and he
Yep.
grabs his leg and falls on the turf. And you're like,
Yep.
oh, I've seen this before, and it's weird when it happens to the other team and not us. So it was different. It was a different feeling. But it's kind of like you just could tell. Like it just at that point, like, okay, this is their wide receiver 1/wide receiver 1A.
Yeah.
And he's now out for like you thought he tore his ACL and ended up tearing it. I think it was a hamstring pull or something like that, but it was graded enough that he's gonna be out for a bit. So pretty crazy stuff.
All right, so let's get to game balls. It's that time of year again.
Oh yeah.
balls.
Love this. It's that time of the year.
And it's
folks.
that time of the show again.
Exactly. That time of the show. Thank you, Jess. That time of the show.
Go ahead, Ty.
Turn your head and cough before each segment.
Yeah, on offense, I gotta go, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, come on. They couldn't guard him. They couldn't do nothing with him. I mean, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was sitting in the all Pittsburgh area, right? And every third down or every time the 49ers needed to make a play, they started saying, the Steeler fans around me started saying, he's just going to go to Ayuk again. That's the type of day he was. They knew no one could guard him. And he just went off and did his thing. So Brandon Ayuk on offense. I got to give a shout out to our friend, Spencer Burford, who I watched, and he had a really good game. He was coming off some blocks, blocking 2 people at some times, getting to the second level, doing some things. I thought he had a really good game on the O-line. So he gets my on an offensive game ball. On defense, Fred Warner. I mean, come on. Fred. That's all I got to say. Fred. he was everywhere. He was like MasterCard, everywhere you want to be. He was insane. Oof. Yeah, words can't put it into perspective. So yeah, Fred. That's all that needs to be said. And then on special teams, special teams and on offense, I gotta go Ray Ray. Ray Ray's out there just being that security blanket that we needed. That one punt that bounced, and he had the wherewithal to see a hole, snag it, get upfield, get us some better field position. That was great. And the blocking. I mean, we all know the CMC run where he just came from out of nowhere. Like, where'd he come from? That was great. And he had some other blocks in the game. The guy's just an unsung hero for us. So, yeah, him and I got to give it up to Mitch and Jake, too. They were great. So there you go.
Go ahead, Maddie.
Clearly, Brandon Ayuk. Shout out to him in my best ball. He carried me to a few best ball wins this week. I'm not going to say that having Brandon Ayuk and Tyreek Hill stacked in a few leagues was helpful, but it was extremely helpful. So
Lucky
thank you. Thank you very much for that. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, Drake Jackson. That's we waited a long time, and we were I was hoping for a Leonard Floyd sort of deal. Or somebody like that up on the other side of Nick Bosa, somebody to replace what D Ford was supposed to be. But Drake Jackson worked real hard this offseason, and it showed. 3 sacks week 1. That's amazing stuff, and it was part of a really good rotation with Cleveland Farrell as well. I thought I really like the way they utilized both of them. The depth on that defensive line, provided everybody stays healthy, is a really, really big strength of this team, and is really going to wear out a lot of offensive lines around the league. Because as you all have seen, offensive lines around the league are not great in a lot of places. So that was good there. And special teams wise, obviously Jake Moody, just putting everybody at ease, keeping everybody off the, as long as Robbie Gould's on the free agent market, everybody's going to want Robbie Gould back. So every reason that he can give them to not want Robbie Gould back is good for him. It's good for this franchise. It keeps everybody moving, right? So that way they're not stuck on some sort of thing. So really good start for him. So all around, just solid ass road win week 1, exactly what you want.
Go ahead, Becca.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to echo exactly what they just said. Brandon Ayuk, not only just what he did receiving and, shutting down Patrick Peterson, but also the block for CMC, just putting it all out there, the extra effort all over the field, just really, really turning up his game. I was super impressed and super excited to see that. I think another offensive game ball goes to Brock Purdy for just coming out there and really, putting all that noise coming back from injury and showing up and showing out like he did as well. I was impressed with his play as, anybody coming back from what he's been through and all the controversy in the offseason. I was excited to see that. On defense, yeah, Drake Jackson. I mean, bam, he just showed up. But you're absolutely right, Fred. Fred was everywhere. Fred was all over the field. You couldn't miss that. And Cleveland Farrell, too. I saw someone else say that in the chat. I was really impressed with him and how well he played. And special teams for me, definitely Jake Moody. I was happy that he was out there and just consistently did his job and was able to hit everything, put all the worries away with his performance. And then, coming, whatever injury he had clearly wasn't really a problem for him. So those are my game balls.
Yeah, mine are Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, CMC, Drake Jackson, Mooney Ward, and Huff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see. Melissa says,
Ryan Clark
y'all
is a
see Ryan
Steeler.
Clark calling out Ray Ray for the block on CMC touchdown, saying he did Steelers dirty was hilarious.
It's the same guy that's literally the same guy Tom Brady pantsed once, basically just because he could on the football field, because the guy was talking smack. He's like, all right, I'll just light you up for 4 touchdowns, and basically did that next week. So
Yeah, he
just
could be.
wanted
So,
to
and now he works for ESPN doing hot take garbage. So have
Yep.
fun.
He could be salty sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
So before we get to the preview of the Rams, the power rankings came out. We are number 1, followed by the Dolphins, Eagles, Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, Jaguars, Lions, Ravens, Bills. Thoughts?
This team is who we thought they were, or who we fully expected. We have a stacked roster. We wanted them to come out and perform, and I think they showed up, and they showed why they're sitting at number 1 this week. They played like they deserve to be number 1. The roster is built for number 1. They deserve to be number 1.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we talked about it on Saturday. They just need to come out, play 49ers football, right?
Do your
Like
job.
the
Yeah.
way they played last season during that long win streak. Was every man being consistent, doing your job, 49er football. They did that. They picked that up week 1. They look like the same team from last season. That exact
often you can say that.
number 1 team. So just healthier right now, right?
With a quarterback.
Healthier. We had a quarterback last year. Stop it. Just healthier.
Not in the final game. We did not have a quarterback in the final game. That's what
He
I'm saying.
started it,
Right.
but just healthier.
Right.
Right? So I'm not shocked at all. This is the way it should look. I don't care about those other teams on there. They don't count. They got us number 1, and that's right.
Yeah, I agree. And then the lowest passer rating allowed goes to Mooney Ward, which I thought was pretty cool.
He was that question mark. We talked about that too. And I was happy to see him step out on the field. And man, he made his presence known right away.
This is the year for him to make that step to where we want him to be, right?
Yeah.
Like we want him to be that next great corner. And he has the ability to do it. So, and you saw that he had that ability last year. I still think he got hurt in that Seattle game. And I just don't think he was quite the same after that game, quite frankly. I don't know what he did, but he was definitely not 100%, but you could tell he was 100% Sunday. And it made a big difference. Huge difference.
Yeah. And then another cool stat. Brock Purdy is the first quarterback in NFL history to win each of his first 6 career regular season starts and throw at least 2 touchdown passes in each start. Purdy also is the first quarterback in NFL history with a passer rating of 95 or higher in each of his first 6 career regular season starts.
Okay.
Good stuff. Keep it up.
Yeah. All right. So,
Exactly.
yeah, everybody, keep it up.
Yes.
Sorry, Ty, I wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, no, it's who he is. Like, I don't understand why people are shocked. Like
Nobody's shocked here.
Last year, he was a consistent 219 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, 66% completion percentage.
19 of 29, 230.
What do you do on Sunday? 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 65% completion percentage. The dude is this. He is rock steady. We begin to rock. Steady. Steady rocking all night long. Oh, I got a new song. I'm taking it up a notch. All you guys out there, you want to talk
He's
about
gonna get a video done.
pretty good. Y'all using that old 2022 pun. I got new stuff in 2023. Y'all can't even mess with me.
Party
I
rock.
The new opener's coming next week.
Right.
Well, yeah, he's just Mr. Consistent. Nothing should be surprising at this point.
Also didn't have a bunch of, last year early, there's usually 1 or 2 plays a game that you're like, oh, I bet he wish he had that one back because the guy would drop it or whatever. Really didn't see any of those on Sunday. Didn't see any of those.
Yeah,
Whoa.
One.
One,
it wasn't
but not
a bad one. It wasn't a bad one though. Yeah, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't like blatant, like, wow, that was just.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, The old David,
Jimmy G,
the
where
David
you're like,
Fulcher.
why? What were you thinking?
Mhm.
Right. Same deal.
I see you, Callie. Yeah, they don't know nothing about that.
All right. So the Rams, they're coming off a 30-13 win over Seattle. It seems like they were going back and forth quite a bit until the Rams finally pulled away. What do we need to do offensively to beat them? Maddie, go ahead.
Choke them off the run game and then put all the pressure on Matt Stafford. That's it. I mean, do exactly what you did against Pittsburgh the other day. Choke off the run game. The Rams would give up on the run game in 5 minutes. You just need to give them a reason to give up on it, right? Which is, a couple losses, a couple run losses here and there. Kyron Williams got a lot of the snap count the other day, as opposed to Cam Akers, which I thought was really interesting. Talking about a young back, if he's not going to see big holes right away, he may be, having a rough one. They got no Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua was really good. Tutu Atwell was good as well. But that Seattle secondary is not our secondary. And that Seattle pass rush is also not our pass rush. So I don't expect the Rams to come out and upset them. Like I don't expect that. I don't expect a 17-point win over the 49ers on Sunday. So this is going to be a big level and step up in competition for them. So the biggest thing is really just to get pressure on Stafford, because it won't take long to hit him, because it's not like that offensive line is some sort of amazing thing. Like it's not going to hold up against what we've got defensively right now.
Yeah, defensively, we just got to play our game. Those guys know what to do. I mean, I think Stafford got hit twice. Think about that. A quarterback got hit twice in an NFL game.
An old quarterback, right? Like he's an old quarterback. What do you want to do to an old quarterback? Right? You want to beat the hell out of him, get pressure up the middle so that he has to go outside, because he doesn't want to do that.
So, like, that shows you how bad their pass rush was. Like, he was just back there comfortable all day. That won't be the case with us, right? You saw on Sunday versus Pittsburgh, like when Javon Hargrave got his sack, the guys on the field with him at the time were Javon Kinlaw, Cleveland Ferrell, and Drake Jackson. Like, not even the starters. He was out there with the backups and still split a double team and got a sack. So, like, okay, we're going to put pressure on him. I think it's going to be the game plan, just exactly like Maddie said, defensively on kill the run, put it in Stafford's hands, and see what those young receivers can do against our secondary in pass rush. And I think it's going to be totally different.
Yeah, Becca.
I thought you asked the question what we needed to do on offense.
I did, but go ahead.
You said offense? I'm sorry.
I thought you were talking about the game.
And I was going to say,
I
think CMC is going to
I got confused somewhere.
That's okay.
What we
I
need to
did,
do
but I just let them
defensively.
run with it.
You could have interrupted me.
Defense, offense, whatever side. Listen.
So we'll flip it. So go defense, and then we'll go offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they relied heavily on Puka and Tutu last week, and I think that our defense is not what they faced with Seattle, and clearly, I'm not sure. I didn't see the replay of that game, but I think I would love to watch it, because I think it's going to say a lot of. Can be some tells about Seattle. Did they just have a really bad game against the Rams, or what's up with that? Because I would have expected Seattle to play a better game based on on paper what we expected them to come out and do. So for this game to go one side or the other way, very interesting for me. But I do think that they're not going to have that kind of game against us. Absolutely not. With our defense, we saw what we did to Pittsburgh, who was supposed to give us all the challenges in the world, a much better defense than the Rams. So I think, we already passed one test, and I think we'll be okay against the Rams. It is a division game, and I always throw a little caution in the wind with any division game because there's always some fluky thing that you never know. But they're going to play us tough. They're going to play us hard. It's a division game that always happens that way. But I think we come away with a resounding win. I think it's going to be a very decisive win. I don't see us losing to them this week. But I think
I agree. Being that it is a division game, it's always one of those games that, we just knock the snot out of one another. But yeah, I think defensively, like Maddie said, Seattle didn't have our defense.
Yeah.
Whether it's our defensive line or secondary. But yeah, I'm kind of predicting a few interceptions on Sunday, for sure. Now, offensively, let's go there. Go ahead, Becca.
I think it's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I think we're gonna run all over them with him. And if they really try to shut that down, then the Swiss Army knife comes out, and we've got everybody else to just take care of business. But they're going to have a hard time stopping anything we do on offense. But I really think we'll stay like we did, traditional run game attack, and pound them in the dirt with it.
Maddie, I know you got to go, so quickly, offensively.
Offensively, get the ball to the MVP of the league, Christian McCaffrey. I am so tired of other quarterbacks being asked. I saw a thing today. Who's going to be the MVP this year? And it's quarterback. There is no one who deserves to be the MVP more than Christian McCaffrey. Look at the stats on this team before Christian McCaffrey. Look at the stats on this team after Christian McCaffrey. Doesn't matter who was a quarterback. There was a significant bump. He was the missing piece. He was Link, if you will. Okay. Dude deserves to be the MVP. Get him the ball in whatever situation you can, and then pick your poison from there. If they're going to cover up Ayuk this week, well, then Deebo Samuel's going to get the ball more. Also, I'd like to see Deebo Samuel get the ball on some runs in space a little bit more, especially on screen passes. I think you can make use of his stuff as well. So, and I also would expect this week probably a little more from George Kittle, maybe in the passing game. Maybe not a ton, but I think maybe more so down to the red zone or something like that. I think you get a little bit more from him this week. So, and I think you'll be able to do that on this defense. It's not like they're, it's Aaron Donald and some guys. Okay. So should be able to do the thing.
Pretty much.
That's what I would say. And I would take the over on this is what I would do, because if no matter what, if this isn't going to be some low scoring affair. Like if the 49ers win, they're going to pour it on, and the Rams will probably score a couple of late touchdowns. And if it's close, it's going to be because they're going back and forth, or there's turnovers and people are scoring. So I would take the over in this game as well. Other than that, I got to sneak out of here a little bit early tonight, but I know it's in very good hands with all of you. I got to go look for some brisket beef jerky. Bang, bang, Niner gang, guys. Let's go.
Right, take it easy, Matt.
Tell us if you find it, Matt. Let us know what you got, what you find.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Well.
All right, Ty, go ahead.
Offensively, just do what we do, right? We're going to run the ball, and the Rams like to play a lot of zone, which we'll probably know what they do because we saw how man coverage worked out against Pittsburgh. So they're going to go very zone heavy. So I think you'll see a lot more screens, a lot more stuff to Kittle underneath maybe. But our wide receivers are really good at finding spots in the holes, in the holes in the zone, and getting yak. So I can see big days from them. And remember, their corners are Ahkello Witherspoon.
Ahkello.
Anybody fearing him? No.
Nope. We get to burn him twice a year.
Exactly. And Darion Kendrick, who's, I believe, just in his second year, his first time starting.
Who?
Exactly. Who? And he's got a guard. Pick your poison. Who you want to guard? it could be a very big offensive day for us. Guys just take care of their business, and do what they do. It's like double team Darnold, and you're fine.
I will like to just say one thing and add this, that we have to clean up the penalties. We had 85 yards in penalties.
Yeah,
that was
bad.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And nobody's remembering that because we had such a resounding win. But 11, I think it was 11 calls for 85 yards or something. I wrote 85 down. That's what I remembered. But that's a lot to give up already. And I know it's week 1 and working out some kinks and what have you. And our friend Spencer was 3 of those calls. And, I'm sure it's week 1, jitters, whatever, timing, what have you, getting those things cleaned up. So I do hope and we'll shake the dirt that we clean up the penalties and clean up that stuff, because we don't need it. You start to get into tighter games where people are playing you hard and the score is close.
Yeah.
You need to give someone almost 100 yards of yardage to help them win, in a close game or something. So that is definitely something to keep an eye out on.
They definitely got to clean that up. And like on Pittsburgh's lone scoring drive, like 20 to 25 yards came from penalties.
Yep.
Like it was like, we're just giving it to them at that point. Like,
the only way they scored was from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see the ball moved around a little bit more. Like I said ad nauseum last season, good things happen when the ball gets in George Kittle's hands.
Is he 100% though? Did you speak to him? No, you spoke to
his wife,
Claire. Yeah.
Can we drop names?
Okay. Claire gave me all clear.
Yeah, I figured he was playing because Claire was there. Claire normally doesn't travel if he's not going to play.
I saw him after the game. I should have asked
him. But it seems that he was full go today in practice. Mm-hmm. So that's, wasn't limited or anything like that. So, good
like
stuff.
I said, the Rams like to play a lot of zone. George is a zone killer.
That's exactly
so this could be his week.
Mm-hmm.
So watch out.
And I'm with Kali Young too. I'd like to see Jennings get involved a little bit more. And Sin had mentioned Debo. I'd like to see Debo as well. I think we're going to have one of those classic games like last time. I feel like CMC is going to throw for a touchdown. I feel like Debo is just going to run all over them. George get involved. I kind of feel that way. X factors. It could be coaches, players. X factors on offense will go.
I'm going Ray McLeod. I think we saw last year when we played them, Kyle identified a mismatch and tried to get Ray the ball. We didn't connect on it, but the attempts were there. I think he's going to try it again because the play was there. We just need to execute. I think he's going to try it again. Plus, what you know the rule: no block, no rock. Well, Ray did some blocking, so I think he's going to get rewarded.
He's definitely getting rewarded for that.
He's going to get rewarded with some. They're going to just call his number. Kyle's going to be like, "This one's for Ray." So I'm just envisioning him making some big plays out there.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go with Debo. I really think, they're going to be looking at IU card, the way he played week 1, and they're going to be really trying to make sure that IU doesn't get open the way that he was week 1. So I think that's going to bode well for Debo, and Debo's going to have some chances. Or your man Kittle, because, and like we just said, when you play zone and you leave things open underneath, they make space, they find their way to get open, and it's easy to chuck it and let the yak guys do their thing. I'm going to go with Debo as my offensive X factor. I think, he's going to have a shot at a really great game.
Yeah, and he's a Rams killer.
That's a good pick. He typically plays well against them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this may shock you, but I'm actually going to pick George Kittle.
It's why I didn't. Because I think George is
Oh, hey
also
there.
gonna have a great game.
I like that shirt.
Oh, hey there.
I'm gonna have to
Oh, hey
purchase
there,
one of
right?
those shirts from you, Ty.
Anytime.
Yeah,
When I saw it, I was like,
just-
wait, does Jess have the same shirt on? Because like that.
No. We're not twinning today. We're not twinning.
Nope.
But yeah, like George Kittle, because I just think, he was a little quiet on Sunday, but I think that is all because of, his groin and stuff like that. But like I said, him being full participant in practice today, not limited. I think we're definitely going to see more of him on Sunday. I hope we see more of him on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because like I always say, and I'll continue to say, good things happen when the ball's in George Kittle's hands.
Oh yeah.
X factors on defense. Mine is going to be Nick Bosa.
100%.
He finally, I'm going to say that he gets 3 sacks on Sunday.
Ooh, nice.
Some sackaroonies are happening.
He's finally getting his sackaroonies.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Becca.
He was my guy too. He's going to be, I think, green light, full play, full game, not on any sort of count, and I think he's going to have a good game. Yeah. He's going in.
Go ahead, Ty.
Who do I want to go with? So many to choose.
I'm
gonna go Eric Armstead.
Okay.
I think they're gonna try to they are going to double team Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
It's just what the Rams do. We've seen them triple team him before. So I'm not shocked there. And I think they're going to slide some protection Hargrave's way as well.
Yeah.
Which is going to leave Armstead with some one-on-ones. I think he's going to get some pressure, make Matt Stafford uncomfortable, which could lead to him making mistakes. So I'll go Armstead.
He's actually another guy who had a good but quiet game on Sunday.
He did.
Yeah.
Armstead.
If you look at the stat sheet, it's 0 across the board. But he got pressure. He was doing things that doesn't show up on paper, but like he was the guy that got the pressure that forced Pickett to scramble left right into Drake Jackson's arms.
Yeah.
Right.
And he almost got a sack there, but Pickett scrambled. So he did have a good game.
He did his job.
He did his job.
And same thing with Javon Kinlaw. He didn't do too bad on Sunday as well.
The big hit that Fred Warner had on the running back to begin the game, Javon Kinlaw took on a double team.
Yes, he did.
Actually split it. But that freed up that hole for Fred to go through and just run right through the running back. He did little things like that.
Yeah.
Very quiet, but good game. And that's what we want from these guys, right? You can be quiet, but still have an outstanding game that helps your teammates excel.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I do want to just address the Pittsburgh fans with the bang bang Stiller gang banner.
Oh, yeah.
That big old thing hanging. I was like, what the is that? And did you hear them play put on in the game, like their audio team playing the music during the game? But I swear they played the Travis King version, not the Jeezy version. I was like, is that the Travis King version of Put On? Like, played our song for us in the stage.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like, wait a minute. And also, in the beginning, when they played the polka, me being Polish, okay, I catch on to these things. it was the beer barrel polka, and I was a little mortified that they put their own thing to it. And my mom wanted to dance, and I'm like, "Oh no, you're not dancing because this is for the Steelers."
You have to hold her back.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh no, that's not happening."
That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness!
I did hear the polka as well because married into Polish family, I was like, oh man, come on. This is not a Polish town. Stop it.
But yeah, so I wanted to address that.
Yeah, I just want to say, stop copying our style. How many NBA teams now have a beatbox guy walking out with the teams, and just everybody? They steal our hashtags, our songs, and stop it. Get your own stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Remember, it's like
be original. Stop copying our style. Stop.
Remember, it's like two or 3 years ago, like
brick by brick,
social media teams started stealing what our social media team was doing and creating videos like us. And it's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't be original. It's terrible.
Someone stole the brick by brick moniker, and we roasted that, whoever it was, one of the teams, like, brick by brick, we're going to build this team. No, that's us. Go away. And bang, bang, Stiller gang. I was like, Hey,
how about them Niners? I've been playing accordion for 25 years. Very familiar with the beer barrel polka. That's awesome. My dad plays the accordion too.
Nice. Roll out the
barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun.
Look at us. We're turning it up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1.
Guys, shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, you guys
thanks
are awesome.
so much. You guys have been awesome tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, let's go to our hurry up offense and the 2-minute warning.
Boom. Shout out to the people of Pittsburgh. You guys were awesome. Great city. If we ever play there again, or if you get a chance to go check it out. Kudos to them. It's just good to have the Niners back on field. Like, this has been the longest offseason ever, and just seeing those guys back up there just had me energized and juiced, and it just felt great. Even though, like, I wasn't sitting around Niner fans, most of the fans were on the other side of the field. I still felt them. I still felt the community, and it was just awesome. And I can't wait to do this for the rest of the season. So everybody enjoy it. Go Niners.
I definitely enjoyed my time in Pittsburgh, being that's the first ever time I've been there. I would definitely go back, probably fly as opposed to driving, and probably sit in a different seat as opposed to sitting in the sun. But it was a good time. I'm glad we walked away with the dub. Let's get another dub this weekend, and let's continue to roll and go Niners.
Wait, real quick before Becca goes, I saw Dina Harvey was there, and man, I would have liked to meet you, Dina. We're going to make it happen, though, because you're right.
Yes, same.
Down the turnpike or something. We're going to make that happen. But go ahead, Becca.
Oh, no, you're fine. Exactly that. I was going to say it was so great to see so many Niner fans and meet some people, put faces to, virtual faces or what have you, and just get to go back to hanging out at tailgates and having that camaraderie. As always, there's no party like a Niner party. We do it right. We all come together. It's the greatest time ever. I love the city of Pittsburgh. It's one of the coolest little cities you'll ever go to. If you haven't been there, just go. There's a great art scene. There's a lot of great stuff to do in Pittsburgh. They've revitalized the whole town from the old steel mills and stuff, and just really an awesome town. Great people, great food, great culture. You're not going to have a bad time. It's a really great place, and nothing better than walking away with the Niner win. So, glad football's back. We got away with no injuries, and week 2's upon us. So it's a divisional game. It's going to matter, and let's go Niners.
And congrats to Brandon Ayuk of getting the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, as well as CMC, the FedEx Ground Player. First ones of the 2023 season. And I'm sure a lot more is coming our way.
Oh, yeah.
And with that being said, good night, guys. We'll see you next week, and go Niners.
Boop, boop.
And, of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.